Hey guys, it's Stahl back at you with another video. This time we're sponsored by...
Oh dear, here we go again.
You hit like and subscribe.
I love the fact that I don't even have to do this. By far my favorite group because you guys do it for me.
I know you guys missed me last week, I was sick, but I'm back,
Yeah, this week's game is sponsored by Chiron Pharmaceuticals. All right, seriously though. So we're gonna pick up off with. Man, this is a great start. I can't speak.
Awesome.
We're gonna start with the biggest group of people here. So we're picking back up with Kalmir, Cherry, and Vitus. Not Vitus. He's not here. Tullus.
Tullus.
So you all were kind of, admittedly, on the side of the road wondering how you were going to fit 3 people on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Have we come up with any brilliant plans in the meantime?
No.
I didn't think so. I couldn't think of anything. I mean, I couldn't think of anything that would be great, as a player at least. So,
Am I the only one that can't hear Spencer?
I cannot.
Oh, I'm still muted. I'm sorry.
There you go.
but yeah, so at this point, however, the conversation sort of dies down as people seem almost lost in thought, probably. I mean, Kalmir probably doesn't really understand what a motorcycle is, so he's like, well, he no idea what's going on in this conversation. When, once again, the sounds of an engine kind of come echoing down the street. This is a loud engine.
Like,
Much
how loud?
You want
As opposed to the notorious quiet engine.
It's not electric.
No, but no, this is bigger than your average vehicle. If you had to guess, it's either bigger than your average vehicle, or it's some guy with like a modded out engine to make it louder.
Just poked a hole in his muffler. That's all he did.
Yeah. He shot his muffler with a shotgun, it seems. But no, this louder engine is quickly followed up by very blinding headlights as it kind of comes, admittedly, just barreling around a turn down the road.
Kalmir's gonna get off the road.
Yeah, I'm gonna move myself and my bike off the road to prevent from that, automobile accident.
Kalmir knows enough not to be in front of it when it goes fast.
It's
Yep,
true of
so-
most things.
This is a bus. And as it gets closer, it's a very strange bus. It looks like someone ripped this bus straight out of Mad Max. The frame is still kind of together, but pieces have been cut out. Non-regulation compliant pieces have been welded on. And it comes down the road and starts to slow to a stop. And before it slowly, admittedly, pulls up to the group of you. The door slightly open, not slightly, the door comes kind of flying open as, well, there is a man sitting in the driver's seat, and he turns and yells, well, you might want to get out of here, and we're here to help you.
Cherry, the stairs. Here it is. Affiliation? Do you happen to have an affiliation with any group around here?
Silence for a moment as he replies, I guess we never named ourselves, did we? No need. Independent.
That is fine. Cherry begins entering the bus.
Kalmir's never been on one, so this is going to be exciting for him. No one's ever invited him.
Cherry's just like, not cheer on. That's good enough for me.
Tullus is not interested in leaving his bike.
Does it have a bike rack?
If it does, it's not gonna fit a Harley motorcycle.
Yeah, if it did, he probably wouldn't trust it. He's like, that should go fast enough. Just follow along. I'm sure you got a lot of questions. I'll answer them, but we gotta go pick up a few more people. We'd rather you not get shot today.
Understandable.
I'm doing my best not to get shot every day.
So where are we going?
He kind of leans over towards what's a dash, almost. Actually, give me a perception check.
Everybody?
Whoever's in the bus. So
Not me.
Yeah.
Well, Cherry entered the bus.
Yeah, so I guess Kalmir and Cherry.
Ha! 2 successes.
One success.
Yeah, so he leans over the dash of the vehicle. Most of it seems pretty normal. I mean, not that Kalmir can really tell you what's wrong, but he can very clearly see where the radio should be is instead a set of fangs.
Fangs? Where the radio should be.
To be a mouth where the radio should be, yes.
Is it moving?
It starts to move when he leans over to it and starts speaking in some language. The driver
I'm not even
listens
gonna bother rolling occult for this.
The driver listens for a moment and he's like, all right, that road then. I hope the other one actually is giving us good intel this time. It should be about 15 minutes of driving, don't worry.
Tell me, what kind of creature has a mouth on the inside?
Peculiar ones.
Cherry could give a few answers.
I mean, I feel like it's like a possessed bus or something.
Right now I'm guessing demon shit. But at this point, mouth inside of bus kind of tells you very little. There were many things that could be. That could be some spirit shit. That could be weird deviant shit. That could be fucking.
I could check spirit sight and see if it's a spirit. Is it a spirit-ish thing?
Spirit.
It is a spirit, okay. So it's just being possessed. Interesting.
Does spirit sight tell you if it's being possessed?
Well, that's a good question.
I believe it tells you if there's a spirit there. I can check.
Highlights manifested spirits and related phenomena. It's not possessed.
So it's a manifested spirit. We're inside a spirit. Riding the spirit.
To be that guy, it says spirit-related stuff, so realistically, it could even be claimed.
Yeah, it could see the other stuff, but I'm just going to tell you it's manifested. Because,
Okay.
I mean...
I would have preferred the answer it was claimed.
That would have led to more questions.
Driver's not, though.
Plenty of things the driver could be, but we don't know anything at this point.
Probably just a normal guy.
Yeah, so unless there's any questions people want to pose as he drives...
I mean, 10,000 different questions, but we ain't got that kind of time.
For and who do you plan on picking up?
I don't really know the name. I haven't been the one watching you folks. Some, I believe a senator was the designation that I was given.
Understandable. Do you also plan on picking up the Promethean and the Mortal, that we're following behind?
Wasn't informed of a mortal, but I have my best people on the task of finding them.
Understandable.
Kalmir just could be looking around the bus and see how it works. What makes it go?
You're not seeing anything that really makes it go.
No legs.
It ain't got no legs.
Lieutenant Dan.
I presume Tullus is falling behind on his motorcycle.
As soon as it takes off, yeah, I'm not taking off without it, because, well,
Yeah.
I'm not really going to bother comparing the speed of a motorcycle to a spirit bus, but you've got your foot on the gas. Like, he's not going slow. Drew, you have been attempting to get some sleep. That sleep is quite rudely interrupted by the sound of an approaching vehicle that sort of drives up to the building and stops, presumably. The engine still sounds like it's on.
Have the other people awoken to this?
Her has woken up and is quite perplexed. He's kind of slowly rising from a chair to move over to a window to see who just pulled up.
Drew will observe, because he's not going anywhere while tied to this guy.
Yeah. The driver kind of walks up to the window and is like, am I dreaming still? Like, is this some kind of lucid dream? What? Who does that to a bus?
What do you see out there?
Looks like a bus if you leave it in the inner city for too long. Like some right out of like a movie or something. As he kind of starts walking towards the door, seemingly determined to figure out if he's actually awake or not.
So Drew will, be peering to see what he can see, but You won't be getting up.
I mean, even just peering, the large rectangular metal shape, partially in the driveway, partially on like the front yard. Again, stitched almost together, welded. This is, not a uniform model at any point. The door opens and the two people inside can see the bus driver. I'm just going to call him that because now I have two NPCs I'm calling driver. I've screwed myself. Raises out of his seat and begins walking off the vehicle. Tolas has presumably pulled in behind, but probably not in sight of anyone in the building.
So, bus plus motorcycle. Is the other not so injured person awake?
They still appear sleeping.
Are they? How far away is he sleeping?
Couple feet. I mean,
basically within reach.
If you leaned, yeah, you could.
Okay. So Drew will nudge him to get him up because this is people riding up in the middle of the night is kind of an all hands on deck moment.
Yeah. He begrudgingly kind of shakes awake. He's, what?
There's a bus and something else outside.
A bus. He sort of, twists to get a better view of the nearest window. And he's, yeah, that's a bus. What is this place?
And Drew motions to the injured one that he's tied to and says, I can't get up just yet.
What do you want me to do? Push the bus away?
No, I want you to find out what's going on.
He stands up and kind of lumbers over to the window and sees his buddy already going outside at this point to see what's going on. Is like, just seems content with watching. The two drivers, they kind of meet each other on the porch, and conversation is exchanged. Neither are talking particularly loudly. The loudest is the driver from the house, who was quite loudly exclaimed at the beginning, who even are you? Why are you here? What did you do to that bus? Why are you on the front yard? Why didn't you park normally? Many questions. They converse for a few moments. If anybody wants to do anything else, speak up. I'll let my ramblings block you from doing anything.
Tolas is just gonna, park the motorcycle and then kind of walk up and kind of lean on the side of the bus, just kind of examining the situation.
I mean, the situation is interesting.
That's why he's examining it.
Give me a perception, I guess.
Oh, okay. Okay. I wasn't actually expecting a roll. I was just stating what my character was doing, but okay.
Yeah, give me a perception. Yeah, so I mean, just taking a quick peek around, you can see a vehicle, probably electric. I mean, the model is probably not something you can recognize, but
Likely not.
no. But judging by the lack of, a gas cap, it's probably electric. It's pulled up into this driveway, very narrowly avoided being crushed by the bus, but the house is run down. There's a person in the doorway on the porch talking to the driver of the bus. There's a very tired-looking individual leaning in a window. Beyond that, I mean, it's still a little too early for proper morning light. The conversation on the porch goes for a few minutes before the driver of the bus eventually kind of sidesteps the other man, and walks inside and sort of just leans into the living room and said, sent to collect a sin eater around here? One of you two, three? As he kind of takes an acknowledgement of the guy laying on the couch.
Who's this?
An interested individual. Not to worry, we do have your best interests in mind. We are trying to get you out of the way of conflict, as it'd be a shame to lose such anomalies.
Did you just call me an anomaly?
Yes. I can explain more later.
Did you just call me a research project?
Not a research project, but a cooperative. A colleague in our research. There are things we require of you that we cannot do ourselves.
You require things of me.
Yes. I must, I must push a little bit of haste into the situation. The event has already started, and although we are a bit far away, they are motorized. They will likely reach here within a few hours. At minimum. Maximum.
Well,
I can't use words.
You've piqued my interest. However, if you want me to come along, I need some medical attention for this fellow here, because if I leave him behind, he's going to die.
There are plenty of hospitals in the city.
We're not at one of them.
We can go there. We're already going to the city. It's the quickest way out of this path.
So Drew will look at the other two people that he's been riding with, because this is their friend, not his. So he needs, they've heard this exchange too. So he wants to see if they find that acceptable to go along with these people.
The guy in the window is just kind of seemingly just at a loss for words. He doesn't really know what's going on at this point. He was just woken up in the middle of his sleep, told there's a bus outside, and now some strange man has walked in talking about things above his pay grade. He's like, the guy outside, the original driver, does step back in and is like, I mean,
getting into a hospital was the plan.
Yes, it was the plan. What can we lose at this point?
Very well. Help me with him. Let's go.
Almost immediately after this bus driver individual walks over and lifts the body. Just on his own. Yeah.
Just, Drew's arm going with the guy. Tied together.
So, Tolus, you're very clearly the first to see these two individuals emerge from the building.
Yes.
One looks very, very wounded. The other is admittedly tied to his wrist with a ribbon.
Tullus raises an eyebrow, but he doesn't say anything. He's still kind of uncomfortable about this situation, Though, honestly, realistically, he was sent on the exact same mission by his father, so, he's aware of there's no small amount of irony here. Because he was quite literally doing the same thing as the bus driver. Hey, I was told to find you. Come with me.
Yeah, so the driver carries the injured individual into the bus and sets him down on one of the seats and is like, all right, now I just have to hope the other scout found him. As he sits back down, the radio speaks again. Drew, this is the first time you're seeing it, of the mouth at the radio speaking in a strange tongue.
Is this something Underworld-esque that he would be familiar with?
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of strange things in the underworld, and I guess there are ghost buses occasionally, but probably no one's a ghost.
I mean, yeah, if it was a ghost, like it was, full-time medium and whatnot, he would know. So yeah, that's kind of what I was asking.
Yeah, it's not a ghost.
As three Charon operatives enter the bus, Cherry gets, Cherry doesn't react, but
To be two, right?
There were three of them, aren't there? One of them was knocked out.
I thought only the one that was knocked out was getting into the bus.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the only one again.
Okay. I'm sorry, I misinterpreted.
Fine. At this point, my brain is going 2,000 different directions right now. I'm trying to orchestrate terrible plot device here.
So I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'll take a shot. But yeah, the radio speaks again, and the driver turns to look at it and is like, "That's inconvenient. All right, whatever. We'll make do." Well, if you have seatbelts back there, I might want to fasten them.
Cherry does completely
The road
have
might get a little bumpy from here on out.
I'm guessing Tullus can hear this.
Yeah.
Okay, Tullus is gonna hop back on his motorcycle and get ready to take off.
So this bus essentially does a U-turn in the driveway.
This is why I was
As
getting the hell out of the way.
As it gets back on the road, travels for a brief moment before immediately going off-road. As it kind of, swerves through the woodland, it is quite bumpy. And the driver kind of leans back and, apologies for the suddenness, but things are things are deteriorating faster than we'd like.
What is happening? Why do you need to gather so many people?
Well, where do we start? You are familiar with this place, correct?
It is a strange place. Not quite like where I'm from.
It appears that somehow it appears to be a place that seems to be made up of. It seems to be made up of several different realities. I would assume, at very least times. It appears to have connected people who have different histories, is varying from the slightly divergent to the highly divergent.
That is the short of it, yes. It's the easiest answer. So, this place is strange to normal perception. Now, tell me, have you noticed any other supernaturals nearby here?
I believe besides the group that seemed to have formed sort of absent-mindedly, the only other supernatural that I've heard of within the last few days is I believe a Promethean formed just a few minutes ago. But
Yes.
other than that, no.
Now, the lack of other supernaturals calls into question why you are here. Now, there are supernaturals, but they are not here around this city. Yet you are. For some reason, you have not been removed yet. This places you as anomalies, which require observation. Unfortunately, we have to directly intervene here, as other things we are observing are getting worse, and we can no longer sit around idle anymore.
What do you mean remove?
Well, it entirely depends which branch gets you. Some simply killing supernaturals. They seem to have a near permanent sense of them. We've watched their movements as they track. Admittedly, they were vampires. I traveled here a few years back. Despite showing no signs of their condition, they were ruthlessly pursued and hunted down. Alternatively, in the city proper, it simply resets the area, removing more than just supernaturals. I must apologize. I forget sometimes that not everyone we deal with knows what is running this place. The only kind of emotion he has shown is at this point, as he kind of almost shudders when he says it, and the god machine runs through every corner of this place.
I see.
That is the second time I've heard mention of this machine god.
Yes, it is unfortunately all too prevalent here. as here is it, I think. We think. But needless to say, there are no supernaturals in the city. They exist much further out, which is unfortunately grounds we cannot enter. It appears fairly opposite. Many of them are hunted down in the city, and we are hunted down outside the city. It is the only bits of patterns we can find, and even though the pattern appears to be broken. But nonetheless, I should save the grandiose explanations for when the entire group of you are together. There's no need in repeating oneself.
Who is left?
I believe the Promethean. The vampire is admittedly asleep. Well, asleep, yes, we'll use those words. We've already found him. Don't worry. Stahl.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit since you broke off from the main group. There just wasn't enough room on the motorcycle to carry 4 people. You were given a designated kind of rendezvous point by Tullus, and given the task of, well, guarding Rose for the time being. Not a whole lot has happened. After you've reached the point, you've mostly just been kind of sitting around. Rose seems a little not interested in conversation. It's mostly sitting, gazing into the distance. However, shortly after reaching there, the Azothic presence you felt earlier disappears. It was still a distance away, but it is gone. Just worth noting, in case you were wondering. It's a peaceful little section of the woods just off the road. When that quiet, peaceful tranquility is interrupted by, well, a bus coming barreling through the trees. Which you don't need to be an expert to realize that this isn't a road.
So, I probably try my best to, get into some sort of cover, probably, just in case.
Yeah, I mean, what cover you can find from an incoming bus?
Yeah, good point.
Rose is quite equally as, kind of taken aback by the vehicle coming directly through the woods at them. And, back steps and instinctively goes for cover as well, even though it's probably not going to help if it does intend to just drive through you. It does come to a stop, though, and the doors open, and there's a bit of a yell, and it's like, well, hurry up, first shots have already been fired.
So I guess I approached the driver. Just curious about.
He gives you a look and is like, yep, all right. There is the Promethean, I reckon, and that the mortal that you want to pick up. So he kind of leans back towards to make eye contact with Cherry.
Rose nods, I suppose. No, not Rose. Cherry.
Tullus pulls up pretty shortly after and sets his motorcycle into park.
Don't ask me what's going on, Stahl. I don't have any answers.
Are you sure this is okay?
He seems to be doing the exact same mission I was sent out to do, so, you know, work smarter, not harder, and Tullus just kind of shrugs. Plus, I was going to have an issue with, you know, getting people around. I only have a motorcycle. A bus is much more useful for this.
The strange tongue of this bus speaks up again, and the driver's like, all right, I mean, they're probably like 30 minutes from here. How much longer do you want to stand around?
May I just ask, who are you referring to? Who is this they?
The Immortals, I believe they call themselves the 40th. They are a remnant of a mechanized division, taken on the role of a protector of this section of the city. We don't deal with them too much. There's no need. But they have, well, moved on a war path, and we'd rather you not get shot in the midst of it.
Well, it's just kind of nods.
Saul just gets on that bus. He doesn't really want it. It's been a long night for him.
It has been quite the night. And Rose follows up afterwards, quite confused, quite unnerved at this vehicle, but quickly gets on and, well, sees Cherry is there and kind of runs over there and is like, yeah, I guess I'll sit here. With a short look of, do you have any idea what's going on?
Cherry just says, I have no. Cherry just says, Cherry just says, I have no clue what is happening. And I believe this. I believe for some reason, and supernaturals in the city are for some reason being collected, because they're rare, and we're like. I believe there will be an explanation later.
Bus takes off again, doing another U-turn in the woods. Only knocking down a few trees at this point.
I was gonna say, I don't know how it's managing that.
It doesn't appear to be very damaged. It doesn't appear to be getting dented by these trees. It seems quite content with. It is avoiding most of them, but it seems quite all right with knocking a few down. Shows no sign of stopping.
Tullus is just gonna follow.
A little easier to dodge them on a motorcycle.
A bit. Just a bit.
A little bit. Just a wee bit. The bus eventually gets back onto the road and starts heading back into the city proper. The driver kind of almost spins around in his chair. He's like, all right, well, Nearest hospital is a few minutes away. You can drop off your injured friend there, and hope he's still himself when we come back to pick him up.
Still himself? Do they change these people?
Not that they changed them, I suppose, but copies aren't always exactly entirely accurate.
Copies.
I'm gonna take another. Did I notice as the guy was brought on if he had a soul? He does not?
The guy brought on does.
Oh, he does.
Driver
Okay.
doesn't.
Driver doesn't. Okay.
Pretty sure he doesn't. Contagion guy might be yelling at me, but I'm going to say no.
I'm going to guess no. Oh, unless... Because I'm guessing that he's a demon, I'm going to say unless he has a soul pact, no. Right now. He's a soul pact not used right now, just on him.
Yeah, no, driver doesn't have a soul. But the injured guy does.
Okay.
But going back to your clear concern, yes, unfortunately, when left at the whims of the machine for too long, it replaces people.
Hmm.
In fact, most of the people you have probably seen in this city are not the first
Iteration.
iteration. Yes, that's the word.
Some powerful
It
magic.
usually takes a few weeks, though, of permanent stay for them to get noticed. We should be fine. Yeah, I mean,
Not
so
terribly encouraging words.
I never said I was encouraging. I'm simply giving you the facts as they are. A short while later, the vehicle stops in the parking lot of a hospital, and another two individuals, plain street clothes, sort of come walking across the parking lot and enter the vehicle, and we'll take the injured guy in. Do not worry.
Wow, curbside service for a hospital.
Driver, I reassure you, these are not employees here. They are colleagues of mine.
Not that he could have even heard Tullus if Tullus did say that.
Well, maybe he's got good hearing. He's got mental hearing. He's got fourth wall hearing.
Okay, there we go. Fourth wall here.
That'd be a pretty interesting character.
Power of meta.
Power of
Moving on,
Deadpool.
though. Yeah, so these two individuals come in and lift. Well, one lifts the wounded guy, and the other is sort of like, "You're gonna have to remove that unless you want to go with him again."
And Drew pulls the string on the ribbon and done all he can do for the guy.
After they depart the bus and make their way back towards the building itself, the driver sort of spins back around and is like, "Well, we've got some time until that vampire wakes up. And judging by your expression, some of you are probably tired." As he's talking, the bus picks up speed and takes off into the city proper. We'll just drop you off here. Not here. drop you off where the vampire wakes and go from there.
Did you not say people were chasing us?
They were not chasing you. You were unfortunately in the middle of, well, a hammer and an anvil. We did not want you to get crushed. It was unlikely that you would, but the risk was too high.
Okay.
After a little bit of driving, the bus parks, and the radio mouth sort of speaks again and continues to speak. Admittedly, it speaks for much longer at this point. As the driver stands up and says, "Well, our service from our friend here has ended. We would like us all to depart now."
Oh. What kind of bargain did you make with this creature to get him to let us ride?
Not relevant.
Curious.
Cherry grabs Rose's hand and begins leaving.
So we're back in the city, the giant village.
Yes, it is quite strange for Kalmir, admittedly.
Back again.
But Tullus, you can quite easily recognize this is your father's house.
And I'm sure
This bus is
Stahl.
pulled up to.
I'm sure Stahl recognizes.
recognizes you, yeah.
I'm gonna try to get Stahl's attention as soon as possible and shoot him a look of like, we need to proceed very, very carefully here. Hopefully, Stahl would understand the delicacy of this matter here.
What do I roll?
How dare you, sir?
Let's see.
That'd be wits plus empathy, honestly.
Sympathy.
Yeah. So with wits empathy. Oh boy, this is.
Yeah.
He is not gonna succeed on this.
Do you even got empathy?
I have a single dot.
Hey.
Wow.
No,
Oh.
More than most Prometheans.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
To be fair, seriously.
More than...
Hey!
You get the memo. Proceed with caution. The driver sort of just kind of stands at ease on the sidewalk until everyone departs. After everyone departs, though, the bus does take off down the road, and the driver kind of begins walking for the front door.
Tullus is, hold on, because I have certain merits here that might make this a bit more complicated.
Interesting, you mean?
Where else did you take? Did it? Just Haven.
Safe place.
Safe place in Haven, so you got traps and stuff.
Yeah, realistically, I would. This place is gonna be somewhat defended. But Tullus is actually gonna try to impose himself in between the driver and the door.
Driver stops and just kind of blankly stares at you. Would you rather us stand in the street?
This is not your abode, customary to be invited in. You have not been invited in, so I don't see where you get off.
I'm afraid cultural customs are not of the greatest import here.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. How many dots do I have here? And yes, this is relevant how many dots I have. I've got 2, so this place would have probably a security system and at least a couple of traps. Tolas kind of just goes, I'm aware of this location. I'm also aware of the person who lives here. This place is designed to kill anybody that is unwanted.
Well, it certainly didn't work on our scout, and it certainly didn't work on the spirit that's currently inside. I don't believe that it's going to stop us now. But if you want to be so difficult, I suppose we can simply stand and stare at the door until nightfall.
Tolas doesn't make any sort of comment at that and just continues to block the path. Bleh.
You not live together with your family?
No, I haven't for years.
Seems odd. Usually, you'd stay with family until you're married.
That is not the custom that these people live by. Though admittedly, I believe that would not be uncommon for their culture. Though.